At exactly 07:18 this morning, deep inside the outskirts of a shattered village, 4 Russian soldiers entered an abandoned 2-story house, believing the crumbling walls would protect them from the sky. They were wrong, because 5 minutes later, a Ukrainian FPV drone would appear outside the broken windows, hover silently in midair, and begin one of the most intense indoor drone hunts ever recorded. What happened inside that house became a full mission footage sequence that will be studied for years. Before we begin this documentary, if you're watching, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue bringing real frontline analysis and mission breakdowns. Now let's go inside the house, where the soldiers thought they could hide. The house sat at the edge of a ruined road, surrounded by burnt grass and collapsed fences. Its roof had partially caved in months earlier. Windows were shattered. Doors hung crooked on broken hinges. But to the soldiers moving under pressure, it looked like the best shelter for miles. They sprinted inside, slamming their boots against the dusty floorboards as they moved through the narrow hallway. Outside, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone hovered at high altitude, capturing movement in thermal. 4 heat signatures, 4 bodies, all inside one structure. The operator zoomed in, marking the target building with a digital frame. Then he switched to the FPV feed, the drone positioned low behind a broken wall on the opposite side of the street. Its camera shook slightly with wind. Its motors warmed. It waited for the command. Inside the house, the soldiers whispered anxiously. One checked a corner. Another peeked through a shattered window. A third sat behind a leaning wardrobe, trying to catch his breath. The 4th paced slowly, his nerves rattling. They believed the broken walls would hide them. They believed the house would mask their heat signatures. They believed they had a few minutes to rest. But at 07:19, the FPV drone rose slowly from behind the collapsed outer wall, tilting its camera upward to capture the abandoned house in full view. Dust blew across the broken yard. A torn curtain fluttered weakly in the upper window. The FPV crept closer, moving like a metallic predator. The operator steadied his hands. At 07:20:14, the drone received the order, enter the structure. The drone surged forward, skimming inches above the cracked pavement. It approached the house front, drifting toward the first open window. The broken glass edges glinted in the morning light. The opening was tight, but possible. The drone lowered its altitude, rotated slightly, and approached sideways, its camera angled just enough to capture the room inside. One soldier near the window sensed air movement. He turned and froze. His eyes widened as the drone hovered outside, staring directly at him through the shattered frame. He stumbled backwards, kicking a metal pot across the floor. It clanged loudly, echoing through the hollow house. The drone surged toward the window. The soldier dove behind the wall, shouting to the others. The drone drifted back for a second, calculating distance, adjusting flight path. Then it moved again, this time approaching the window at a sharper angle, finding alignment between broken wood beams. It lunged forward. The FPV clipped through the opening with a burst of dust, wood splinters flying off the frame. Inside the house, the sound of the drone's motor reverberated like a wasp trapped inside a metal box. The soldiers panicked. One ducked behind a flipped table. One crawled toward the staircase. One sprinted into the kitchen. One froze in the hallway, unable to process what was happening. The drone hovered in the center of the living room, recording everything. Debris covered the floor. Shattered plates, broken cabinets, footprints in dust. A curtain swayed from the sudden air pressure. It rotated slowly, scanning the room. Thermal overlay ignited the walls in orange and red. Heat from the soldiers could be seen faintly through weak interior wood.
The operator identified two on the first floor, one moving toward the stairs, one directly behind the hollow wall section. The drone pushed forward, gliding through a doorway with barely 2 inches of clearance on each side. Its propellers stirred old dust into swirling storms behind it. A soldier hiding behind the kitchen counter peeked out, only to see the drone pivot toward him. He ducked instantly, gripping his forearm so tightly the muscles in his forearm bulged. The drone approached the counter, stopped, hovered, turned slightly, as if listening. Then it drifted backward into the hallway. It headed for the stairs. The soldier at the bottom of the staircase heard it approaching and scrambled upward in panic. His boots slipped on loose debris. He crawled up the final steps and rolled into the upper hallway. Dust followed him as he slid. The drone rose to staircase height. It tilted and began ascending the stairs slowly at first, stabilizing itself with short, sharp motor bursts. Each step brought it closer to the second floor. Each inch made the walls feel tighter and the air heavier. Halfway up, the drone rotated its camera toward the upper floor. The soldier was lying behind a broken door, breathing hard. The drone continued upward. Inside the room to the right, 2 soldiers whispered urgently, trying not to make noise. One hid behind an overturned bed frame. The other stood near the far wall, facing the window, as if expecting escape from the outside. But escape from the outside was impossible. The threat was already inside. The drone reached the top of the stairs. The soldier behind the broken door froze as he appeared in the upper hallway. The drone hovered in front of him, lens pointed directly at his face. He scrambled backwards, knocking over a chair, sending dust bursting into the air. The drone surged forward. The soldier rolled out of the hallway into a side room. The drone followed. The room was small, barely 3 meters across, with broken furniture stacked chaotically. The soldier crouched behind a sewing table, gripping his head, breathing fast. The drone hovered inches from the ceiling, rotating slowly until the soldier was perfectly in frame. Dust blew sideways, curtains fluttered, plaster cracked from vibrations. Then the drone backed out, leaving the soldier curled on the floor, gasping. It turned toward the opposite room. The 2 soldiers hiding behind the bed heard it before they saw it, a rising buzz, a subtle vibration against the floor. One soldier moved closer to the doorway, peeking through a narrow gap. The drone's red indicator light appeared first. Then the body of the drone drifted into full view. It hovered outside their room, motionless, silent, watching. The soldier yanked his head back, unable to even shout. His partner mouthed something. Window? But the drone was blocking the only path out. The drone moved inside the room. It floated over the debris, rotating its camera downward. Its lens tracked footprints on the dusty floor. Shadows shifted under its bright LED light. The drone slid between the bed frame and the broken cabinet, scanning the far wall where the 2 soldiers hid. Dust swirled around the propellers. Suddenly, the drone sped forward, startling both men. One soldier crashed into the bed frame, knocking it over. The other stumbled sideways, grabbing a table for balance. They attempted to crawl into a corner where collapsing beams had created a small pocket of space. The drone hovered over them, camera locking on as they trembled. Then it rose. It backed out of the room, floated into the hallway, turned toward the stairs again. Downstairs, the 4th soldier was crawling behind the wardrobe, holding his breath. He didn't move, he didn't blink. He heard the drone descending the stairs, its props slicing air, creating a faint vibration through the house structure. He pressed himself deeper into the corner. The drone reached the bottom step and rotated one full turn, scanning every wall. Its thermal mode activated again, revealing faint heat patterns behind the wardrobe. The drone advanced, drifting slowly through the hallway. It approached the wardrobe, stopped, hovered. Dust fluttered across the soldier's face. His eyes squeezed shut, his hands trembled. The drone lowered itself. Then suddenly it reversed, rose again, turned, and drifted back into the living room. The operator wasn't rushing. This wasn't a chaotic firefight. This was a methodical sweep. The drone floated inside the living room again and faced the window it originally entered through. A draft pushed through the broken pane. Curtains swayed like ghosts. Sunlight spilled onto the dusty floor. The drone stabilized,